as I drove down the desolate highway. The only company I had was the eerie whisper of the wind and the haunting hum of my engine. The darkness outside seemed to swallow everything in its path, leaving only the narrow beam of my headlights to pierce through the gloom. My knuckles gripped the steering wheel tightly as I pressed onward, the only thought on my mind being the comfort of my bed at the end of this long journey. Suddenly, I spotted a sign up ahead, barely visible in the dim light. I squinted, trying to make out the words, but they were too faded and worn to decipher. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that washed over me as I passed by. It felt as though the sign held some dark secret, one that was better left undisturbed. As I continued down the road, I caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding in my chest, as I saw a shadowy figure standing at the edge of the road. It was too dark to make out any features, but something about the way it stood there, unmoving and silent, sent shivers down my spine. Ignoring the figure, I pressed on, eager to put as much distance between myself and whatever was lurking in the darkness. But as I rounded a bend in the road, I spotted something even more unsettling, an old, decrepit house looming in the distance. Its windows were boarded up, and its roof sagged under the weight of years of neglect. Despite every instinct screaming at me to keep driving, I found myself slowing down, drawn to the house like a moth to a flame. I parked the car and cautiously approached the house, each step echoing loudly in the silence that surrounded me. As I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside, the air grew heavy with the scent of decay. The hallway stretched out before me, dimly lit by the weak glow of the moonlight filtering through the boarded-up windows. Shadows seemed to dance in every corner, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I hesitated for a moment before pressing on, drawn deeper into the heart of the house by some unseen force. Eventually, I stumbled upon a room filled with dusty furniture and cobwebs, a single object gleaming in the corner. As I approached, my heart sank. It was a photo album, its pages yellowed with age. With trembling hands, I flipped through the pages, each one revealing a new horror more terrifying than the last. Suddenly, I heard a sound behind me, like the rustle of fabric against wood. I spun around, heart pounding in my chest, only to come face to face with my own reflection in the dusty mirror. But as I stared into my own eyes, I saw something else lurking behind me, a distorted, grotesque figure with eyes burning with malice. With a scream, I turned and ran, the echo of my own footsteps the only sound in the empty house. I burst out of the house and ran to my car, not daring to look back for fear of what might be following me. With shaking hands, I fumbled for my keys and slammed the door shut behind me. As I peeled out onto the highway, the headlights casting long shadows on the road ahead, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still out there, waiting in the darkness.